Hey everyone, it's Benjamin Zaemisch, author of Creating Freedom and the founder of Move, Learn, Create, and welcome back to the Manic Serenity, where I'm helping people to understand and align themselves with the mechanics of creation so that we can finally begin to consciously evolve further into the human possibility. And this is episode 9, and we're going to talk about arriving, the great arrival that we're all seeking, the destination, making it, success, that place that we're going to finally get to, that we can hold on to and just know that we're there, and kind of free ourselves from the never-ending struggle, the never-ending push and endurance race of life. So do you know anyone that has officially arrived? Perhaps you do, perhaps you don't. Maybe you feel like you have arrived. I think we all at least have a vision or a desire in our mind that we're kind of convinced on some level, even if we haven't really analyzed and deconstructed it. We're kind of convinced that this one dream, this one vision, this one thing, whatever that may be, once we have that, once we've attained it, then we'll be fulfilled. We'll be okay. We'll be there once we get to this particular destination, whatever that may be. And then the other side of it that I think about a lot, that I just feel is tied into this directly, is the need for a break from the process of life, the need for rest and solace from the relentless push of life. Because when you really think about it, that's another form of arrival. Maybe we don't try to convince ourselves that there's some ultimate destination that will really completely fulfill us. So we kind of hedge our bets, we tone it down, we straddle the fence a little bit, and we say, okay, I won't go that far, but definitely there's a place that I will be able to get to or need to get to, and in that place I'll get some kind of a rest. I'll find the solace that I need. I'll be able to come into that place of external stillness, and when I say external stillness, I just mean a place where life isn't pushing, where we can at least temporarily arrive. So I think on that level, at least we've all felt that way. I know I certainly have. I certainly have felt all of these things at different times of my life. I've identified with every single one of those questions completely. There were times where I used all of my energy, every single bit of my energy, to chase something that I could see so clearly in my short-sighted vision, and I was convinced that it was the answer. And there were so many other times where I got that thing, I got a certain amount of money or the better job or whatever it was, and I was just absolutely, totally, positively sure for at least a few moments that it was the solution. And I still sometimes struggle, honestly, with the feeling of a need for rest, a need for solace. When things just get a little too intense, and I find myself longing for this idea of this temporary arrival into a place of rest. So how do we find the solution? How did I find the solution for at least most of these things? Well, hopefully we're growing wiser from our experience, right? We've lived long enough. We know a lot of this stuff is just, it's not realistic. It's not how life works. And we learn and adapt as we go. And most importantly, we learn to not attach so much of ourselves to the external weights and measures by which success is defined by the world for us. When we do the work and we strive to define what it is that we actually need for ourselves, and we come to a place of clarity and understanding to be able to answer for ourselves, why do we need those things? What is it that we're actually trying to fulfill? What is it that we're truly longing for? When we do that, we go through the process of detaching ourselves from the, like I said, the external weights and measures, the things that the world uses, the outside influences use to define for us what that success means. And it's out of those external influences and identifications that we derive all of these ideas of some, place that we need to arrive in. So detaching ourselves and learning how to detach myself from those ideas and those identifications, that's such a huge part of the process. And then at that point, really our life becomes this constant practice of really trying to see what this life, the life inside of us, the life that created us, that is longing to express itself through us, we turn our lives into this constant practice of trying to see with more and more clarity, just constantly increase and enhance our perception, our ability to actually see what it is that life is longing for, and then working towards aligning ourselves with that and only that. I mean, really, all of my courses, all of these videos, all of everything, my poems, everything, it's all about creating this channel through which we can operate in alignment with what this life is truly seeking and truly longing for. And then at that point, that is when we begin to actually find peace. It's then that we find fulfillment. It's at that point that we start to experience at least tastes, and glimpses of the ecstasy, the bliss that allows us to see the true rewards of this life, that really the world around us, the world in which we live and move and have our being, is desperately trying to just pour over us. But we go through so much of our lives without even being able to really catch a glimpse of that. We go through so many things without actually having a taste of what it is that we're actually longing for, of what the freedom that we're seeking actually means, what the experiential value of these, lofty ambitions actually is on a real, tangible level. So it's at that point that we start to at least catch a glimpse of it, that we at least, get a taste of it, and that is so necessary to allow us to overcome all the challenges, to really keep striving, keep honing our intention and increasing our wisdom, and having the strength to continually apply it to reach and be able to experience and embrace and receive greater and greater levels of what it is that life is trying to offer us. But that is not what they tell us, is it? I mean, the world outside is screaming from every direction. No, just get this amount of money. Get this amount of money and you'll be happy. Take the right amount of, great vacation selfies in Tulum or wherever, and you'll be fulfilled. And take this pill and you'll really know what true rest is. You'll really know what true solace and restoration feels like. And it's just nonsense. I mean, we know it's nonsense. It's nonsense. But the influence, the power of that constant, never-ending indoctrination. What's that? I'm not sure how to say that one. But you know what I mean? That constant influence and conditioning that is coming at us from every direction. The smartest people in the world are getting paid extraordinary amounts of money to come up with ways to more effectively influence our perspective on what it is that we want. And if you're discounting the power of that's playing in your life, then you're not looking at this life really clearly. You're not taking seriously what it is that you are actually longing for. And if you're not doing that, then you're never going to be able to get it. So we have to acknowledge, and I have so many videos where I talk about this, really acknowledging the limitations that we're facing, acknowledging the obstacles that are in front of us. Because if we don't really address the myths that are being planted in our outlook, you know, that are being forced into our perspective, then we're in a state of constant disempowerment from every outside influence. So it's just so incredibly important. And the solution now, the perspective, the clarity that's going to put all of this nonsense that we now see truly is nonsense, the perspective that's going to put that all behind you is just simply to see that, first of all, everything that exists here, now, in this present moment. There is nothing that exists in the creation that exists outside of this present moment. Now, so when you're looking at that, now immediately address the fact that this present moment in which everything exists, this moment is never still. It's never still. It's never done. And it's the most mind-boggling thing, because even though it's never finished, it is always complete in itself. You know, everything in the creation is in the present moment. The present moment is never finished, yet it is always complete in itself. And that is the starting point for the path to liberation, you know, the beginning step to really coming to owning this understanding that's going to free you from these ideas of arriving, the source really of our constant state of letdown. I was going to say never-ending desire, but really what that means is a constant state of letdown rather than perpetual fulfillment. So that's where the path starts, seeing what is there, that everything that is there now, and that now is never finished, yet always complete. So obviously, if this is the reality in which we live, we have to, if we're going to also be complete within ourselves, because that's what we're seeking by arriving, we're trying to become complete. So if we're ever going to be complete within ourselves, we have to align ourselves with the reality of this present moment, the reality of the creation. So now we see nothing in that creation is fixed. Nothing that is there, the entirety of the universe that's being held in this moment, none of it is fixed. Nothing is stationary. Nothing has arrived. Everything is in a process of growth. I mean, even stones are made of atoms which are moving. Even the mountains are growing or falling away. You know, this idea of arriving, this idea of reaching that point called as success and being able to hold it and then be fulfilled by it. This is actually quite bizarre and ridiculous projection of our minds. You know, this has nothing to do with reality. This has no place in the creation. It is not existentially valid at all, and we're doing ourselves an incredible disservice to entertain this idea, and really we're the ones disempowering ourselves. I mean, yeah, we have to acknowledge the power of the external influence, and if we don't start there, we're probably never going to be able to free up enough cognitive bandwidth to actually clearly address the reality that's staring us in the face. But once we do see it, and I know you can see it, then the onus is on us. The responsibility is directly, you know, placed on our shoulders to take that understanding, take that perspective, take that clarity, and then actually do something with it and change the way we're operating and change the way we're perceiving the world around us. Because the world around us is directly connected to the world within us. So if this has no place, if this idea of arriving, this bizarre concept, if this has no place in the creation, well, think about that creation. Not only are we part of it, but we are creators in the creation. So now it's a little more important even that we align ourselves with the fundamental truth here, that we align ourselves with the reality, the mechanics of life, you know, that are connected to this aspect of the human experience and the human condition. I mean, every piece of our being, everything of which we are made, it's all striving for more, all of it. We're not the only one wanting more. You're not the only one seeking to grow, seeking to expand, striving to, you know, arrive in some sense. We're all desiring for more, for greater expansion. But it's not just you, it's not just in your head. Everything is doing that. Every cell in your body is doing that, is striving. It's never still. There is literally not one cell in your body or in the existence, one atom that is in stillness, that is, static. It just doesn't exist. To have arrived, to rest on the far side of our imagined finish line, this isn't real. Everything is in a constant process of creation, or it's meeting the moment of its destruction. The only arrival is the arrival at the moment of destruction. So if you're seeking arrival, you're seeking annihilation, because everything that's alive, everything that's creating, everything that's being created, everything is in this constant state of creation. So how, now that we know this, how do we align ourselves with, with this reality? Well, we become a yes to life, as was said by the great master. We become a yes to life. We use our intellect to see clearly, which we just did. Now we see it clearly. Now we do the work. We do the work and we learn how to actually align our being with that vision now. We can see it clearly. Life has granted us this gift that we can actually perceive. We can look into the nature of the reality around us, and so easily, so simply, we just did it in 10 minutes? We can see the truth here. Now we can do the work. Now we know which tools to put in our tool belt, which ones to discard. We can easily identify now what serves us and what does not, because we know what it is that we're trying to align ourselves with. And then we stop making excuses and stop attaching ourselves to these illusions that have no basis in reality, that echo only in our minds. They're going to keep echoing. The momentum is going to keep going that the mind has picked up. It's not like these ideas just go out the window and we don't think about them anymore, but we have the ability to arrest them in motion, to stop them. And if we can't stop them, actually, it might be better to not worry about stopping them at this point. Just don't take them so seriously. Allow a part of yourself to kind of stand by and just say, yeah, I see that, but it's nonsense. And then just anchor yourself more and more in that place through repetition, through the power of will, and then most importantly, through actually acquiring the tools for transformation that are available. They're here, they're now. I offer some. So many are being offered from so many other places, incredible places, voices in the world that are giving us all of these tools to really align ourselves with the truth. So we do that, and then step up within yourself, or right now, externally, however you want to do it, step up and just acknowledge for once perhaps, the miracle of being human, the possibilities of being human. We have to fulfill our destiny for ourselves. If we're going to ever get a true experience of what is available for us, we have to fulfill the destiny that is laid before us and become the conscious co-creators that we were meant to be. That is what I'm here for. That is what I'm doing. That is what I'm talking about when I say consciously evolve further into the human possibility, because we're not collectively doing that right now at all. And it's time that we start. It's time that we acknowledge the possibility in front of us, the capacity that we have within us now. Shout out to Marianne Williamson. I just finished a Return to Love, and she talks about the difference between talking about potential and possibility or addressing capacity that we have within us now. It was written so beautifully, so phenomenal. It resonated with me very deeply. So once we do that, once we address the capacity that we have, we take hold of the tools that are available, then we begin to truly reap the rewards, the real rewards that are available to us, as the forces of life, the forces of creation that have created us and that we have to consciously participate with. They then accept us into their ranks. and they bestow upon us their blessings. I mean, I should think of even a more grand way of saying it, because really it's such a phenomenal reality. It's such an incredible thing that happens when you learn to align yourself with this reality. So step one, first thing to do right now, put your hands into the sky and say, I am human. I am human, not I'm only human. And I used to love that song, but now I can't hear it. I can't listen to it. I just can't abide the only human thing. It's not tolerable. I am human. You know, I am alive. I am in this impossibly perfect state of forever becoming, and I'm conscious of it. And I can consciously act in accordance with this incredible ongoing miracle. There is no limit. Say these things, say them to yourself, and then, probably because you're going to be the only one that you know saying them, turn to the people around you, you know, who would trap you in their delusions that you're escaping from, and just remind them, you know, lovingly, creation is a process and destruction is an event. So please, please see that you never arrive. That's arrival. That sums it up. Thank you so much for joining me here. Episode 9, we're really getting into it now. I'm loving this process so much. It's so rewarding for me to be able to share these things. So I thank you and honor you for being here and sharing the moment with me. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Please share this with everyone you can in any way you can. Share it on your Facebook page. Show it to the people who you think you know, would benefit from it. And then most importantly, take a hold of the tools that are offered. You know, take these tools for transformation, put them in your tool belt, learn the perspectives, go deep into the work, the practical step-by-step guides that are laid out of actually how to do this work. I got a little critique about my video last week that it was a lot of clarity on what the problem was and not a lot of practical advice on what to do about it. The practical advice, in case you missed it last week, is go in the description of this video and sign up for the free courses that are available. Read the free book that outlines exactly how to overcome absolutely any limitation. You know, take the 3-part Momentum Masterclass. It's just phenomenal tools, incredible perspective, and then very simple, clear implementation guides, step by step. Take a piece of paper and align your life in the way that will lead you so easily and so effectively into a new state of empowerment where you can really take hold of these realities and step into this freedom that I can't stop talking about. So do that. Join me here next week. I love you all, and there's nothing you can do about it. Shout out to David Thomas, and I will see you next week. Thank you.